Project Independent Radio.
This is the Ultimate Isolation Radio with Chris.
Good afternoon. This is Junkrat News. I might as well jump right into it because my topic tonight here is a sober one. The events of recent weeks may have helped to illuminate the challenge for some, but the dimensions of this threat have loomed large on the horizon for many years. Whatever our hopes may be for the future, for reducing this threat or living with it, there is no escaping either the gravity or the totality of its challenge to our survival and to our security, a challenge that confronts us in ways unaccustomed in every sphere of human activity. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we, as a people, we are inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the threat of those which are used to justify it. Even today, there's very little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is very little value in ensuring the survival of our nation at all if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. No official in any administration, whether ranked high or low, civilian or military, should interpret these words as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts that they deserve to know. Today, no war has been declared, and however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion. But still, our very way of life is under attack. Those who make themselves our enemy, they are advancing around the globe. The survival of our friends, it is in danger. And yet no war has been declared, no borders have been crossed by marching troops, and no missiles have been fired. If awaiting a declaration of war before people begin to impose the self-discipline of combat conditions, then I can only say that no war has ever posed a greater threat to our society. And if you are waiting for a clear and present danger to reveal itself, I can only say that the danger has never been more clear, and its presence has never been more imminent. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means of expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into building a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations, they are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters, they are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, and no secret is revealed. It conducts the Cold War, in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy could or should even ever wish to match. Nevertheless, every democracy must recognize the restraints of national security, and the question remains whether those restraints need to be more strictly observed if we are to oppose this kind of attack or even an outright invasion. Now, there is no intention to establish a new Office of War Information to govern the flow of news. There's no suggestion of any new forms of censorship or any new types of security classifications. For there is no easy answer to this dilemma that we're posing. Perhaps there is no answer to the dilemma faced by a free and open society caught inside a cold and secret war. In times of peace, any discussion of this subject and any actions that result would be both painful and without precedent. But today is a time of peace and peril which knows no precedent in history. No president should ever fear public scrutiny of their program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes either support or opposition, and both are necessary. Now, it's not being asked of the media to support an administration, but their help is needed in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I could not only not stifle controversy among readers, but I welcome it. This administration should be candid about its errors. It was a wise man that once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. And they should intend to be fully responsible of their errors and should be expecting it to be pointed out when they miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country could succeed, and no republic could survive. That is why Athenian lawmakers decreed that it was a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why the press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution. Not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, and not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, to mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. This means greater coverage of analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign, but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that a government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide the public with the fullest possible information outside of only the narrowest limits of national security, and they should intend to do it. It was in the 17th century that Francis Bacon remarked on 3 recent inventions that were already transforming the world: the compass, gunpowder, and the printing press. Now the links between nations, first forged by the compass, have made everybody citizens of the world, and the hopes and threats of one have become the hopes and threats of all. In this effort to live in this one world together, the evolution of gunpowder, to its ultimate limit, has warned mankind of the terrible consequences of failure. And so it is to the printing press, the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look to for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man can still be what he was born to be: free and independent.